I knew that when it came to the 3DS and the Wii U, that there's just such a polarizing conversation about preservation and those things. Just emulate it, bro. Just download it off the internet. And you know, I can't encourage that, especially because like, I'm a Nintendo ambassador and I work with the company officially. At the same time, I'm not a fan of how they do stuff that way. It's not fair. So that's the part where I get hit by Nintendo Ninja. So for me, it really was, how do I make the biggest splash without kind of rocking the boat in a way where it would upset people? And I work a lot with Frank and Kelsey at the Video Game History Foundation, and I would not have made the video if they didn't say that I should do it. I pitched the idea to them like, hey, to promote, you know, we have an annual event called Preserved Play where we raise money for the, thank you, for the Video Game History Foundation. And I went to them and said, hey, what if we like kind of pseudo made a commercial under the guise of preservation, which is what the whole topic's about, and I'm gonna do this dumb thing, and I'm gonna buy all the games. And before I could finish, Frank and Kelsey both screamed yes at me. Because there's not a legal way to enjoy these games. When you go to the library, right, you can check out a book, borrow it, read it, and give it back to the library. Some libraries let you do that with physicals of 3DS or Nintendo games, depending on how cool your library or historian is, right? There's not a legal way to do that for educational purposes. Yes, you can use your Steam Deck to make it the best thing ever, right, and do that, but legally, if you're trying to teach your kids or just go down the historical rabbit hole, there's no way to do it. And the best way to do it is to, at the very least, have backups of backups of backups. And so that's what gave me the idea of spending all of Raid Shadow Legends money on, you know, every single game that was on the Wii U and the 3DS. And the hardest thing about it was just seeing day by day. It took me 9 months to do this. Day by day, I was racing a clock, and that clock was publishers were not renewing their licenses, so games were being delisted in real time. So, you know, I didn't know how many games were in the shops at the time, but I would notice, oh, a page is missing on the 3DS this week. Oh, a page is listed, gone from the Wii U. Sometimes it'd be like, oh, a page returned because the publisher did, you know, restore their licenses agreement with Nintendo. And so we were really on the clock to do it, and I think that's what really convinced me that we were doing the right thing, despite the fact that most people can download it. And I think to wrap things up, as far as preservation goes, I don't think people are worried about New Super Mario Bros. 2 for the 3DS. Nintendo will find a way for us to buy it for the third time, right? Preservation to me is like, what about like the guys who made Runbow? What about like the guys who made Shovel Knight? What about, you know, Guacamelee? Yes, they're getting ports and stuff and whatnot, but like, what about their early games? What about the licensed games? What about those games that like are asset flippers that are really funny, like Marble Pinball 14 that has the same music as 1 through 13, and the same color assets. It's stupid, and none of you bought it, and they were expensive on the 3DS to make money. But if no one bought it, then there's no way to preserve it. And that was kind of my intention with that is, yeah, no one's gonna play that number 14 game, but at least it's there in the history books so that one day when we lobby with Congress, we can convince them to let us digitally restore these online so that people can check them out like you would a library.
Yeah, I love that, Jirard. Thank you so much for
that.
Yeah, thank you.